Okay, well, here we are looking at Divided Republic, and I realized during my intro I didn't mention something. So, the starting setup that I've got on the board is fixed, but you see there's a few cubes here for each other player. Those are ones that they get to play under some restrictions as part of their setup, and I'll be doing that momentarily, and I'll come back after that. Then, after dealing out the cards and stuff like that, kick things off and show you how it plays a little bit. So I'm starting things off with the Constitutional Unionists because they have the momentum, and I spread out their hand and I think about it, and that's one thing that immediately jumps to mind with this game, playing it opposed as well as solo. And maybe with a lot of the CDGs, things like God Kings notwithstanding, that didn't really have a lot. But you kind of have to study the cards, look at the events, think about what you want to do. And there's a high cost to playing these if you don't get really used to what everything kind of does. Towards the end of the game, I was getting more in the flow and knew what most of the cards did, although there's a pretty big deck. So, you don't see them all, and there's a lot of different versions. Anyway, I've looked through here, and I see a lot of things I'm kind of interested in. This card allows me to reshuffle the deck and deal out new cards, so maybe I want to get my good things out of the way soon. This Buchanan card allows me to hurt other people pretty well. Some of these others are a little less interesting. This Popular Sovereignty, it's worth 4. I could get a little bit more here if I rolled the dice. Say in the Northeast I could get a die +2. That's pretty powerful. Got a Scandal I could target someone with. Damned Yankees, what does that do? Southern Democrats gain equal the number of states they control in the lower South. That would be 2. That's not very powerful yet. And that's an asterisk card, so I don't really want to play it this early in the game unless I could negotiate getting all those things. Now here's the thing. I really like this Senator's endorsement. I want to get this played. So what I'm going to do, that pops one of these out, and I'm going to put it in New York State. That means no one else, yeah, I know, I haven't clipped the counters yet. I'll get to it, not on this playing. What that means, though, is I get PCFs for the PCR, required PCFs for PCR and anyone uncontrolled. So I'm going to get 7 green tokens in there. That's a big boost, counting this as a 5. And the Senate endorsement marker means no one else can play a senatorial endorsement in that space. I've got the senator wrapped up. Yeah, there's 2, but only one counts ever, right? Okay, so that would be the Constitutional Unionists. Now I go and move on to red, which is the Northern Democrats. The Northern Democrats had an less interesting cards. They played the endorsement of William Lloyd Garrison. That gives them 1 PCF in each of 4 northeastern states. Boom, 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 boom. Not terribly valuable to be spread out like that. It's like a 4-point card, only not quite as good, right? But it seems for the most part you want to play kind of not your best card right off the bat. The reason Bell was playing his better card early is a couple of reasons. One, prevent another senatorial endorsement, but that might be kind of unlikely. But the other is he's got this card to reshuffle the deck, and nobody knows about that. So everybody else is kind of playing close to their vest, not trying to look too far ahead, etc. early in the turn. Okay, onward to Lincoln, because he's in 3rd. See, now reaction cards are why this game is hard to play solo. And even playing not solo, you've got to be paying attention to your cards and what's happening all the time, and I found that even difficult. The Republicans are sitting on the New York Tribune card. A reaction to an action cancels placement of all PCFs by your opponent to one of the following regions, and it included the Northeast. They could have stopped the senatorial endorsement from having an effect. That would have been a powerful card to play. I'm not sure they're terribly worried about the Constitutional Unionists at this point, but it kind of means that I have to study everybody's cards before I start playing. This is not a gripe against the game itself, but more against card-driven games with reaction cards in solo play, which I'm sure there aren't a lot of people who do that, but especially multiplayer ones. But it is also difficult in the multiple player in an opposed game to remember, oh wait, I'm waiting for you to do this, you know. Keeps you more engaged maybe, but I don't like being engaged maybe. And to finish off that first action phase, Lincoln played Kansas statehood. Gives him a stronghold in Kansas. Makes it, if Nevada enters the game, possibility of secession, depending on how well the Republicans are doing over here on the track. And then the Southern Democrats played a senator's endorsement for the Upper South. And I gotta put a little marker here to make sure there isn't one. And they grabbed themselves 5 votes in the Upper South in Virginia, giving them a tie for the lead there. See how that all works out. Alright, onward I guess. Okay, we get the first one of these, a platform speech. Bell's going to be playing one of these for the Lower South, where there's +2 because popular sovereignty is a more important issue there. And he wants to see what he can pick up. So he gets an 8, a pretty good roll, and I get to just place those. I don't have to actually worry about control on these, which means I could swoop into places that are not really, that are controlled by someone else. Little damn cubes are annoying, but that's the cost of life these days, huh? So I'll drop 4 into Georgia. It's a nice state, and I want to take that. And my other 4, well, I'm going to put them into Arkansas and Texas. And now you could be saying, look, why don't you seize control of states? You know, so you can lock them. Well, I'm not holding a card to allow me to run regional polling, so I can't lock any states. So it seems more valuable to just get competitive in a bunch of states. There are cards that help you out if you've got a piece or if you've got control of a state. So I want to make sure that I get kind of advantages from that. Anyway, onward. Okay, let me go through what's going on here. Douglas played a platform speech in the Mid-Atlantic region and grabbed some more points throughout there. Lincoln dropped the secessionist intrigues on the Constitutional Unionists in New York, and all 7 points that the Constitutional Unionists had there were removed and replaced by an equal number of the party's political control factors. So, you know, you can see some of these cards have tremendous swing value to them in a way that maybe some people would find distasteful. I rather like it. And then, talk about tremendous swing value, good old Breckinridge plays Nevada statehood. Now, it's going to enter as a free state automatically. On a 1 or a 2, because of the Republican position, the game's over. Everybody loses. Breckinridge sees getting a stronghold here as an advantage worth having, though, and worth risking someone else's victory along with their own. The game gets to continue, and no, I wouldn't have cheated. I would have put this up as a blooper reel and started all over again. All right, so they get that advantage in play. They don't get anything else, though. So, you know, in a way, you can kind of say these are kind of iffy cards because you're playing them and you're getting this stronghold, but you're not really getting, you know, a direct advantage in terms of points. But laying down groundwork's important in this game and in an election. So, I kind of aim for that. All right, well, let's keep going. Okay, 3 times around. Buchanan obstructionism is what the Constitutional Unionists played. They attacked the Republicans with it, forcing the Republicans to drop 3 of their states down just below the control level. Northern Democrats played here in the Midwest, gained some more pips. Republicans played a Pierce endorsement, which gave them a bunch of PCFs in a number of, mainly, I think, Midwestern states. And then finally, this inclement weather wasn't played for that. It was played for the 4 pips, upgrading some points here in the upper South for Breckinridge's party. Okay, mainly plays for points here. Green, damned if I know what they did. I think they extended their power in the South. Red continued playing up here. The Republicans rolled the die, didn't get enough. They wanted to go in the Pacific West, and well, at least they got to put some cheap pieces in Oregon. These only cost, they rolled a total of 3 with the die roll modifiers. They rolled a 1, but these only cost 1 each. To get them in there using the 4-point card, had they done it, it would have cost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. So I guess they kind of figured out a way to make it come out ahead. And finally, our Southern Democrats increased their hold in North Carolina. That's a double value there. So people are beginning to think, there's going to be a regional poll, and they threw some additional in the Deep South. Nobody was really too concerned about that before, but once you hit double on a big state, everybody's kind of thinking hard. Okay, so we didn't see that polling happen because Constitutional Unionists played a scandal on Breckinridge over here in North Carolina and cut him back down to half his pieces. Party factionalism was played against the Republicans, and they had to lose half the areas they controlled here. Now that goes away. That's not a reuse card. They tried to recoup some of their things and gained control of Ohio in that. And then, well, the Southern Democrats, rather than playing their poll, played this 4-point card to increase their holdings here. They're going to hold that poll. Remember, you're allowed to hold cards, and try to push it through and maybe get a couple of big states in their win column permanently, and then swing elsewhere to try to pick up more electoral votes.